So I want to jump on here because my Facebook is public, and for those of you guys who are telling me that I owe a public apology, one, I will not apologize.
Yo, what's going on, squad? Welcome back to The Garage. I'm your host, Q, and this is the Truth Be Told podcast. Now, chat, the young lady that you just saw is an Ohio mother by the name of Michelle Bishop. And why is Michelle Bishop so important right now? Because in 2025, apparently, Michelle Bishop is running for the office of Karen 2.0. Now, let me give you some context. Michelle Bishop and her two young children are taking a stroll in their affluent neighborhood of Ohio. As they're strolling, Michelle Bishop notices that there's a truck that's pulling around the corner, and he's driving kind of slow. Now, she's getting a little bit afraid because it's a little dark outside. So in order to thwart off what she sees as a possible threat because the driver is driving kind of slow, she goes on the nearest porch. She rings the bell as if she lives there. When she turns around, this driver's pulling into the driveway. Michelle turns around, asks the driver, "Do you live here?" The driver softly says, "I do." Michelle tells the driver, "I don't believe that." The driver says, "Well, what are you doing here?" You will not believe what happened next. Watch this.
Knock on the doorbell. Ring doorbell. We need you. What's going on?
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do?
Papa.
I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that.
So what are you doing here?
Rory, come on. Rory, come on.
Hey.
The timeout. Did you see something that I didn't see? I'm trying to figure out what warranted Michelle to take her two children and run and start screaming bloody murder. Start screaming help the way that she did. The driver that she was speaking to seemed very soft-spoken. But there's more, and it gets worse. Check this out.
Did someone come here?
That was my wife. Somebody chased her up here. And she had kids.
Who chased her?
She said somebody in a silver truck.
A gray truck, and he came
So
around the corner,
I don't know if you guys have a
I was
reading.
in the street, and so I.
Okay, let me pause right there. So just in case you're not following. Michelle comes back with her husband. Because remember, she left the stroller. She comes back with her husband. She told her husband that someone was chasing her. So the husband, rightfully so, is coming back to see what's going on. Now, the person who pulled in the driveway, that was his house. You're at this man's house. And this is his wife that's coming outside to see what's going on. Now, mind you, a few minutes have passed, so the husband is in the house right now. And this gets even more ridiculous. Watch this.
Come up, and I just have my kids, and so I'm like gonna pretend that I'm coming home, and so I pull up and I start walking to your back gate, and he stops here and he goes, "Are you looking for someone?" And I said, "Nope." And then he sat here, and I was like, "I need to get in."
Well, that's my husband. That's why he lives here. Yeah. He lives here. So he came in and he said there's a lady screaming, and I'm like, that's...
She got all worried that she
There's the husband coming out now.
How?
Yeah.
Sorry.
How did he scare you, though?
I just seen her in the driveway and I was like, "Are you looking for somebody?" Because I was pulling up out
And I
home.
saw someone walking in our driveway, too, and I'm like, why is someone walking in our driveway?
Well, I'm
Well, there
sorry.
we got it. All right, sorry.
What?
I don't.
She said that someone was following her. So you were walking from there?
You came this way, didn't you?
No, I came down this street right here.
Yeah.
And I was riding slow because I'm looking at our Christmas lights.
Well, you just have to understand. And so I was like, oh, it scared me. And so I just pulled up here. And I kept thinking, this could be his house. But you didn't say, this is my home. You just said, are you looking? I was like,
I did. When you was on the porch, you asked me, did I live here? I said, yeah.
And you said, no, you don't.
And you said, I don't think you do.
It was
Right.
You could tell that I was really caught off guard.
Like, I'm pulling in my, it's like I'm pulling in my house. Like, this is not, this neighborhood is probably one of the best neighborhoods in Ohio.
It is.
You don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Well, I'm very sorry. I really hope that you're not upset with me.
Come on, baby, go in the house. Let's go.
You told me that I didn't. You said you didn't think I lived here.
It was the way that you were talking. I was so caught off guard. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So, Michelle runs home after screaming help the way that she did. Well, no, she didn't run home. I'll let you hear from Michelle in regards to what she did next. But here's the problem. You're running through this neighborhood and you're screaming help as if this man is ready to redrum you. And historically speaking, we all know what that could have ended up as. If the police had been called and she's running through this neighborhood the way that she's running through the neighborhood, screaming help as if she's being attacked, there's a high probability that this could have ended up a very, very unfortunate and final situation. Now, the gentleman and his wife, his name is DeMichael Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins and his wife had later posted this video to their neighborhood website to basically clear up any misconception as to what happened that evening and why this woman was running through the neighborhood screaming help, and just to make sure that the neighbors didn't feel as though they had anything to do with what that situation was. Well, when they posted that, the internet started interneting on Michelle, as they should have. So in turn, Michelle decides to get on her Facebook and leave a video message as to exactly what happened. And I'm going to preference this by saying maybe she should have just laid low, gave an apology and just laid low. Watch this.
Says, this is my house. And I said, I don't think that it is. And at that point, the only reason that I said that was because truly the awkward encounter of slowing up behind me, talking to us multiple times. I'm in this frantic state. It's late at night. I got my kids, my 2 babies. The lady at the door is not answering. There's no other homes that are well established. I mean, there's construction. It's a corner house. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm on the front porch. This truck literally is halfway up the driveway. And I was like,
his own driveway.
My radar was like, nope, I don't think that this is your house. And so I said, I don't believe that this is your house. And so I'm starting to unbuckle Cash, and I grab and I freak. I go, Rory, run. And so I take off the porch and I literally run as fast as I can, screaming at the top of my lung. I'm getting all these messages, I'm so sorry. Screaming at the top of my lung. I have never, ever screamed the way that I screamed. And I'm running through the front yards of everybody, praying that the Ring doorbell would capture us. Finally, to get to a woman's house, I'm bang on the door. And at this point, I'm dialing 911, and I said, can I please come in? And the woman said, yes, come in. And so I'm staying there, I'm talking to the sheriff, and more than anything, I was not looking for him to come to my rescue at this point. My husband was gonna come. I'm in this woman's house, the door is closed, and I tell the man, he said, do I need to come out? And I just said, no. I said, I was just calling to let you know that this just happened. My husband's gonna come get me.
What just happened?
He says, he asked me if I wanted him to come out, and I said no. And so the woman then, I was at her house, she literally asked me and said, she said, I don't know how to ask this. She goes, but was it a black man? Because she goes, it's a black family that lives there. And I said, no, I believe that this is a white man. He was a white man in a truck. A young white man is what I said. And she said, okay. She goes, because that's a black family that lives there. And I said, no, I don't think that it was a black man. And then when my husband got there, I stood out front, and we're still trying to get the Ring doorbell footage of me talking to my husband. But he asked me again, he said, what house was it? And I said, it was this house right here. And he goes, are you sure it wasn't a black guy? He goes, because that's a black family. And I said, no, I don't believe that it was a black man. And so we get in the car and we go to pick up the stroller. And I've said this a million times, I have never felt the fear that I had even just pulling up in front of the house when John opened the door to get out of the truck. The amount of, I've never went into like fight or flight like that before. And so he gets out of the car and he goes up to the woman's house, and a woman comes out onto the front porch and she says something along the lines like, did you forget something or did you leave something? And John laughs and he's like, yes, we did. I'm so sorry. And I get out of the car and I walk up to the woman, and I could not tell her fast enough what had happened. She walks out on the porch and I jump out of the car and I said, I said, oh my gosh, yes, there was a man. And John was the one that said a man was following her, chasing her, following her is what I said. I use the word chasing, following me. And,
Time out. So she went to her husband and told her husband that this man was chasing her. Carry on, Karen.
And so she said, I jumped out of the car and I said, I'm so sorry. I said, literally, I was pretending that your house was my house. I was walking up the driveway, and then I was like turning in. I was pretending that it was yours. And she goes, yeah, that was my husband. And so he ends up coming out and he's like, I told you this was my house. And at that point, I literally started, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I am so sorry. And I told him, I said, sorry. I said, I'm so sorry. And then, I said, this is your house. That was my words. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, this is your house. I said,
That's
truly kept thinking like, maybe this is his house. Maybe this is his house. And he says, well, I told you this was your house. And I said, you have to understand. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, it was such an awkward encounter. I said, the truck was like starting to slow behind me, and I'm out here with my little girl and my son. And I said, I'm a mom, and it was dark. And he said, but I told you that this was my house. He says, I was driving slow because I was looking at my Christmas lights. And once again, I said, I am so sorry. And they truly, they did not take my apology. And that night, I went home.
They did not take your apology. Why should they take your apology? Did you mean to say they didn't accept your apology? Because it's still seeming like this high level of entitlement. You put this man in a situation where he could have clearly lost his life. But what do I know? Carry on, Karen.
And that night when I got home, I had tears and I was making a cup of coffee. And if you guys know me, I put everything on Instagram. I talk all the time. We had 2 days in a row, the letter was posted in the mailroom saying that there was a racist profiling, not mentioning our name, but it was in reference to that night. It was taken down 2 times. And then I believe there was an email sent to our followed 20 minutes home, and my car was broken into when I was at the store. And when I was a little girl, we had a man banging on our door and helicopters hovering over our home. So did I overreact? Yeah, maybe a little bit. I made a public apology to them through the video to a whole Facebook page of almost 500 residents in our neighborhood. And then I posted in the comments multiple times when people were just saying, like, disgusting and just tearing down our family's name. I once again came on and I said, if there's ever an opportunity to reconcile, like, I will. I'm so sorry I could have ever offended you. Thank you for giving your time to this, everybody. It's not y'all's issue at all. So, I love you. If you guys start messaging me and stuff, the reason I'm not responding is we're supposed to be celebrating John's birthday today. So I'm going to try really hard to stay away from all of this and be present with the kids because we've not been very present with them. My mind has been super tied up. Okay, that's all. Thanks, everybody.
Well. We're in the year 2025. Now, this happened in November of 2024. And I'm not sure what it's going to take for people to understand the ramifications of situations like this. I remember there was another situation before where there was a black man in a forest preserve bird watching, and there was a lady with a dog, and she ended up calling the police on this man saying that he was attacking her. And he got this all on his camera from his phone. And the internet started interneting. And her fate was sort of like what Michelle is dealing with now. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how to convey to you that these type of actions, and I'm sure she's well aware because the country is well aware of the possible outcome that these type of actions can come with. So you guys hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. You believe her? You don't believe her? Do we give her some grace? Hit me. Until then, I appreciate you for showing up at the garage. The Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Q, and I'm out.
Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I get let up. They get not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Beretta.